Today we're talking about our around-the-world photography trip that was cut just a little bit short.
Pizza, spring rolls, ramen, tacos, burritos, enchiladas. Sorry, were we talking about traveling or food?
My name is Tim Muza.
You can talk to the camera.
And I'm a wedding photographer and filmmaker. And I helped to film and produce the Nikon show that we shot in 2019/2020, before the world went to hell.
A 45-minute doc, that's a lot of editing. Do you want me to look at your camera? That buzz does not go away. We are looking at building a thing around it. You have to noise print it out.
That's fine.
It is exactly 60 hertz.
All right.
That'll do it.
Got the noise print.
Hello, Mom. We're talking about our trip. Well, you can sit quietly right there.
Do you want to put any like fancy lights in the background here?
Those are easy to turn on, yes,
I feel like we
actually.
need to get some.
Quiet. Quiet on the f***ing set, Mom.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? And what do you do?
Oh, that's always such a loaded question. I'm Marshall Angus. I do... Really, right now? Take it to the front where the lights are. Wait for the door to close. Yeah. My name's Marshall Angus. I do a variety of things. I shoot photos, video. I work in the audiovisual industry. I work in theater. I work in live entertainment. I don't know really how I got involved on this tour.
Let me tell you about my boat. If you're interested in learning about the business side of how this deal came together, there is a link for members in the description below. It talks about how the partnership with Nikon began and some suggestions I have for you if you want to work with your favorite camera brand.
I think the pre-production process was literally a text message I got from you.
It was literally, I think, planned via a group message.
I usually get these text messages from Taylor at like weird hours. I'll be like waking up or walking the dog, and I'll get these messages like, hey, are you free this date to this date? And then I won't know what we're doing until we're literally at the gate of the airplane.
What a ridiculous thing to pitch via text message. Like, hey man, so we're gonna go and we're gonna film a bunch of episodes. I'm like, okay, cool. How do you want to do it? He says, we're just gonna get on a plane and go. Oh, for like a couple days? Yeah, a couple days. Turns into a month.
We don't really know what we're shooting when we start out in these projects. It usually starts with like an idea and a location, and then we get there, and then because Taylor has this weird horseshoe up his ass, things usually work out. It's strange how lucky we've gotten over the years shooting basically nothing and showing up and then everything happens. That's amazing. Like that guy on the motorcycle on the track just spinning around on ice. And it was like it was a footnote in that episode too. I'm like, that should be a whole thing. We should have interviewed that guy. Yeah, we've gotten really lucky in a lot of the shoots we've done, which I think is just like a big part of photography. You just have to show up and be in the right place in the right time.
Okay guys, welcome to Thinkwater National Park. My name is Luis. I'm gonna be your guide today. I am a PADI scuba instructor from Mexico.
Set my feeling feet, the dolphin in the sea. attention. I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension. Trapeze high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. Real life manipulators. Get bit back up and see you later.
Iceland is a place that punches way above its weight class when it comes to its impact on the world. Less than 350,000 people live on this island, which is less than the city of Wichita, Kansas. Also, I'd like to take a moment here to voice my frustration that Kansas is pronounced Kansas, but Arkansas isn't pronounced Arkansas. In the past 10 years, Iceland has had a significant impact on photography as a whole. Coming to Iceland is kind of like a cheat code for photography.
My parents always made us travel when we were younger, and I think I was on a road trip before I could talk, and down to the US and things like that, and then we were in England when I was in elementary school, and we've always traveled, and that's always just been part of our lifestyle and how we live, and my parents really instilled that in me of going out and finding new places and really finding new food. That seems to be a big part of traveling, is different cultures, different experiences, and different restaurants.
Where's your beer, Marshall?
Drank it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time watching Marshall eat food.
The foods I ate on this trip include horse. First of all, it was horse. Second of all, it was sashimi. So it was like not, is it cured horse? Anyway, I ate horse. Thanks, Japan.
He's got this rare illness where he can't let food go. He has to eat whatever's on his plate and whatever you don't eat. So knowing that he kind of had my back in terms of what I wouldn't finish, he would finish. He's also really good at like testing new foods on. If you're not sure about something, just give him a bite first, and you can gauge his reaction.
What do you want from me?
Why are you running? This is Marshall Angus. He has returned from Africa less than 36 hours ago.
I literally walked right past here.
It's likely that he has malaria. This is Alex. He does not have malaria.
Well, he thought he had malaria the whole trip. So digging into him on that was a lot of fun.
Marshall's malaria tour.
If architects design the plans of blue and black and gray, then I can clearly trace the lines and read you in that way. Designing fact from flaw, tearing down the baseness of it all.
All right, we've just arrived in Iceland and we've driven to our Airbnb, and Tim came outside to check we have a natural hot spring here, and he's already seeing northern lights. This is also incredibly early. Like, what time is it? It's 6:45 right now.
Yeah.
And we're already getting this amazing light show over top of all the snow-capped mountains out here.
That was really cool because we showed up and we filled up the hot tub. It was like a hot spring kind of bath outside. And I look up and I felt like I was hallucinating because you just see this ghostly green trickle of light just dancing. And you're like, I'm seeing that. That's real. That was really cool. I never thought I'd see that. And it was really difficult to photograph.
All right, so now we're getting down to the water, and we're gonna try to get some good reflections before the northern lights are gone. So we haven't been down there yet. It might be a bit of an adventure. It's going to be a bit of an adventure. Here we go. This week on Northern Lights Hunters.
Dun, 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 dun. I've got one! Get the net!
Let's do 20 seconds. F4, 1000 ISO. Turn on a little 2-second timer here. And let's see what that looks like.
Oh, that was my favorite. Yeah, when we filmed the cooking episode of frying onions and then making a hot dog.
Welcome to episode 1 of Cooking with Taylor. We are here in Iceland, and a key part of Scandinavian cuisine in any country is using the local land and foraging for ingredients.
That was like one of the goofiest things and one of my favorite departures from what we usually do. And I think we should do more of that stuff because...
Nikon asked us to cut it, and I was like,
Did they? Oh, why would they do that? Because it had nothing to do with photography?
Yeah. They're like, the episode's too long. Can you cut it down? They're like, maybe remove the
cooking aspect?
show.
No, I think we should do more cooking in different places. I think people resonate well with that. Plus, it was funny. It was a goofy experience. So much of what we do is so serious all the time. It's like f-stop, shutter speed, use a tripod, how's the low light, and having some kind of novelty to break everything up. That was sweet to me. That was genuine. It felt right.
We're ready to move on to phase 2 of this classic Icelandic dish. Step 2, you put the hot dog in the bun, which we foraged earlier.
Hot dogs were a big hit in Iceland. They always are. In Paris, we had a lot of cheese and bread. When we stayed on that boat, that hotel boat on the Seine, we got a bunch of cheese and bread, and that was fantastic. Santorini. Oh, the gyros. We had such good gyros in Santorini. That was really tasty. That was a really sweet shop. So it's like this shack down this back alleyway where you walk up, and it's like order out only, and there's a little patio seating area, and weird cats everywhere. And it was like the most incredible gyro I've had in a long time.
And how many of the meals did we have there?
Oh, like 90% of our meals were gyros at that gyro shop. It was perfect.
Experience none of the culture.
Yeah, no, just the one shop. If it's good, it's good. Why would you go anywhere else? So the first leg of the tour for the Nikon show, we did Santorini, Greece, Paris, France, and Iceland.
Packing for this trip was really important to us. We thought a lot about it. One of the things that we wanted to bring was a power bar.
That was kind of like a week-long trip, the 3 of those locations. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew we wanted to do some interviews with people who were photographers or creatives in those 3 spaces, talk about the locations, how they're influenced by photography. For instance, like the Iceland episode, we talked about how the 2008-2009 collapse of the economy drove people to be tourists in that country, and that kind of saved their economy.
Iceland got hit hard in 2008. Here's world-famous photographer Manny Ortiz in Los Angeles to explain.
Say I want you to give me $100 so that I can buy a new lens. If I say I'll pay you $105 back in a month, you'll probably pass. But if I say I'll give you $150 back, we'd probably have a deal.
This is what the Icelandic banks were doing, offering incredible interest rates to foreign investors that were completely unsustainable and spending all their money. Here's Irene in a hot tub to explain the rest.
I've never seen, like, I think I looked up maybe 2 or 3 images from Santorini, and I was familiar with the photographer we met, Anna, her work just from Instagram. And I'm like, okay, it seems like a cool place. But when you get there, it's like out of a weird, there's lulls in the James Bond movies where he's like sitting like on a boat or something like that. And he's just before he gets the call to do something really cool, or like he gets in a speedboat to like ride off into the sunset and then change into like a scuba diving gear, and then he fights off crime. That was what it was like. It was like that lull in the James Bond movie where things are really calm and beautiful, and he's got like all these supermodels around him. It was that kind of scene. It was beautiful. Yeah, I want to go back. That was fun. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Photographer TJ6-3.7. Let's begin. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Recite your baseline.
A system of frames of the yellow mirrorless began to spin. A system of frames interlink within frames interlink within frames interlink within one stem. Frames dreadfully distinct against the dark.
Frames.
Frames.
Does your camera make frames? Frames.
Frames.
Do you use natural frames? Frames.
Frames.
Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Are technology and creative interlinked?
Interlinked.
Interlinked. Japan and photography are interlinked?
Interlinked.
Interlinked. Within frames interlinked.
Within frames interlinked.
Why don't you say that 3 times?
Within frames interlinked. Within frames interlinked. Within frames interlinked.
We're done. You can pick up your mirrorless.
Japan is someplace I'd never been to. I'd only ever experienced it through movies like Lost in Translation and like Kill Bill, so probably not realistic. Although Lost in Translation is a bit closer to reality, just because I felt like they held their shots longer and there was less sword fighting.
Wave to the people.
Ooh.
Marshall and Alex got potentially the greatest room in Tokyo that looks over the Scramble Crossing. 10 out of 10 random selection. On the phone with Timothy Muza.
Hi.
What is your reaction to Tokyo so far?
I just stepped out the hotel room and I'm a bit cold. And there's banks. There's banks everywhere. This is a bank of 7-Eleven. Bye.
Yeah, the first time I went to Tokyo, we actually were visiting some friends that were touring with a circus company. I can't make it up. And they were like, hey, we got apartments here, you guys gotta come out and see us, and we're here for a while. Here's the window, and Edith planned the trip, and my brother and his girlfriend Erin came, and we just dove headfirst into it on a month trip into Japan, and I fell in love with it, and just how efficient you can get around, and the variety of food, and the variety of shopping, and the variety of the cars, and the architecture. And
I was amazed at how polite everyone was. I was amazed at how there's this bubble of politeness that people give you.
The car community has people who are just so welcoming, like no matter what, they want to be your friend. And like through my brother and his company and the projects he works on, he met a guy named Ryu. He took us out to Mount Fuji. We told him we were coming into town, and we were like, hey, this is something we want to do. And he's like, cool, I'll drive you. And we were like, oh, okay, like we were gonna get the train, and like we just wanted to know if like what the good train was. He goes, no, like I'll drive you, like I'll pick you up. The hospitality of these guys in these communities, it's sometimes overwhelming.
Yeah, the food was incredible too. Everything you got, like everything from a vending machine was some of the best meals I've had. Like the train station food we had on our way to Kyoto was this bento box I got in like this little hut on the actual platform. And I was expecting garbage food, and it was some of the best chicken I've had in my life. And it blew me away, the attention to detail and the attention to quality that place just has. And I feel like living in North America, we're nowhere near that. And I feel like we're living in a cave.
So one of the hidden gems of Tokyo is Boss Coffee. Tiny little cans of coffee. Feeling the Wonda morning shot, or are you going for a cafe au lait? Emerald Mountain? What is your view of the coffee situation here in Japan so far?
It's unreal. Everything's perfectly portioned. Everything it tastes amazing.
Except for Starbucks.
Starbucks is no good. No bueno. It's too hot, too bitter. Everything you get in a can is a good idea, though.
What's your review of this?
Sugoden?
Do you want some octopus?
No, it's too close to the hot dog.
And then in Tokyo, you have this variety of convenience stores. You have 7-Eleven, Lawson Station, and Family Mart. And those are the three kings.
They were out of stock on waffles at Family Mart, so I got the chocolate croissant, which is like my number 2. Still fantastic, but not same as the waffle.
Like I personally really enjoy the chocolate croissant from 7-Eleven, but the chocolate croissant at Family Mart is not as good. So if I want the chocolate croissant, I got to go to the 7-Eleven and get that. And then, well, like you really like the eggs. It's not an egg salad sandwich; it's an egg sandwich.
It's been quite some time, but we finally located a Lawson's egg sandwich. And as you can see, they've cut the crusts off, which is a nice touch. Looks pretty simple. Just perfect.
So Lawson Station has the egg sandwich. It's not egg salad. There's no mayo or anything in it. It's just literally like whipped egg.
And then Coolish. Coolish is this. Marshall really probably talked about this, didn't he? No, he didn't talk about Coolish? What an idiot. Coolish is this soft serve ice cream you get in a pouch that has a little twist cap to it.
Here it is. Coolish is Marshall's favorite thing in the world. We buy him about 100 of them every time we come here, and he eats them and they give him his camera powers.
The most delicious treat you can take on the go. And I was told by one of my in-laws, she's Japanese, Kiyomi, that like Coolish is for 3-year-olds basically. And she was amazed and kind of shocked that I enjoyed it so much. So, and also you never see any natives in Japan eating Coolish. So I feel like it's just for North American tourists and for children.
Have you seen this? Dude, I need I'm getting one of these. Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah. We love baked potatoes.
All right. The trick is you need the sticks, not the balls, for the sprinkles. It's the best kind.
Yeah, I agree.
I got a potato, Tim.
I don't know how many times we've been to Ichiran. Ichiran's interesting because there's a lot of them that are 24 hours, or at least they operate on very odd hours. So you can land in Tokyo and be like, oh, what time zone is it? It doesn't matter. You can go get noodles. Press your buttons, get your half-boiled egg. Get 2, why not? Just keep putting money in the machine, keep spitting out tickets. I can't read them. You just give them to the guy and your food that was on the picture shows up. It's a brilliant system.
So it was the second night and we were still kind of jet lagged. The first night we arrived, we drank probably way too much. We played darts at like 3 a.m. But the second night, I was up at 5 a.m. their time, which was like, what, 2 in the afternoon here? And Taylor was up. He's like, hey, are you up? Do you want to go out? I'm like, yeah. And so we left the hotel room in Shibuya, and we walked down to get like a beer at a pub, like an Irish pub. And it was 5 a.m. There was still like 8 people in there just hanging out, drinking, smoking. And we're like, maybe we can get some food. And their kitchen had already closed, but they were like, yeah, we'll open it up. We'll give you some garlic bread. And so we had a couple pints of beer and cider. And then we walked out thinking we'd just go home. And then we look up and we see a 24-hour like billiards hall that had pool tables, table tennis, darts, and then 3D golf. And so we did the round robin, the what do we call it?
Champions.
Tournament of Champions.
Here we are moving into the last of the Triple Crown of Sports, darts. The winner of 701 becomes champion of the Triple Crown of Japanese sports here.
Let's begin.
13 to go. Lucky number 13. Here we go. It's not it, but I'm not over.
Game 3.
Here we are. The photos they've selected for us. Tim is in grayscale because he didn't win.
Hawaii. Hawaii was such a bummer because the weather sucked.
Every time we're in Hawaii, it seems to rain. Or we,
So you're the curse.
No, I don't think I'm the curse. I think it's just the fact that it's an island in the middle of an ocean surrounded by water. It's gonna rain.
Hello!
Mom's pickup service is here.
You're falling down a mountain. You're leaving look at your...
Tim has the bends.
Marshall has malaria. Alex is fine. I'm fine.
I'm great. It's not contagious.
It was still fun to go. I didn't complete the pineapple challenge, which is a challenge in which you eat 1 pineapple per day. I'm told it's a diuretic and it can really damage some of your internal bits, but I'm gonna try it one day.
Symptoms are similar to the flu. Aching, shivering.
Or you have the flu.
High fever.
We saw whales. We got up early one morning. We did the whale watching tour, and we saw a few whales, few whale tails from like a couple hundred yards, which was great.
We saw some whales, none that were really close, but I saw whales. I could say I've seen whales in Hawaii, but they were like way out there. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a whale. You made me eat Taco Bell for breakfast.
Where are we off to, Tim?
LA.
Why don't we go to Las Vegas? Nobody's giving me an itinerary.
If you ever find yourself in California,
We did it. This is the kit I've been filming all of these vlogs on. It's a very expensive kit and it includes a selfie stick.
LA, like I was beat when we got to LA. Like those flights and like the time we spent there, like I think I just slept.
So we wanted to do this kind of comedians in cars getting coffee spoof on the Jerry Seinfeld web series, and so we had a Wells Fargo red Grand Caravan.
This is a 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan GT in Octane Red Pearl, and my Jerry Seinfeld impression is way off. I really thought that it would be easier to do a Seinfeld impression for this opener, but this is nowhere even close. The interior is black gray stone with a red stitch, and it's equipped with a 283 horsepower, 6-cylinder, 6-speed automatic engine, and power sliding doors. 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, and 11 cup holders. I'm Taylor Jackson, and this is Around the World with Taylor Jackson, presented by Nikon, and today, my guest is the Nikon Z6.
So that was fun. I enjoyed doing the spoof stuff, where we can take the intro for the episodes and make something that's kind of creative and outside of the norm, what you'd expect. Like when we did the Canadian Werewolf in Paris, where it's just me wearing all denim. Yeah, wearing what I'm wearing right now, all denim and a werewolf mask and gloves. I think Bourdain did that as well. He would pick a theme for kind of an intro or like a thesis statement and base it on, you know, a film or a director that he was falling in love with, the same as his DOP, and they'd kind of create this cinematic entrance to the episode. And I think that was really cool and creative, and I think we should do more of that.
We can't stop here. This is bad country. How much for the hay? Bats and huge manta rays coming down in the car. This is not a reasonable place to park.
My favorite intro we filmed and edited together was the one in Santorini. We didn't really have an idea of what would be local to Santorini in terms of films outside of like Mamma Mia. And we're like, I don't know. I tried watching half of it and I gave up because I don't have the mental energy for that movie. But we thought, well, there's a pier, there's this beautiful like high contrasty saturation of light in Santorini that we had to film something Wes Anderson. So we filmed kind of like a mini trailer of Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. So we had Taylor dressed up in an outfit.
And we found the boat.
We found a sweet boat that looked like the aquatic, the research vessel from Life Aquatic, and we filmed that from a distance, which looked great. I think the intros, because they flex this weird creative muscle we hadn't done before. Like everything we've done for the Nikon show was similar to stuff we'd done in the past for a photographer in, or for other local stuff around here, like Nick and Taylor make a food show. It's all the same muscle we've been flexing for a while, and so I think by adding in the creative intros to the episodes, it was like a fun chance to kind of stretch our legs and see what we were able to create.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, Stan?
Why are we on this island?
I don't know, Stan.
Is this a dream?
If there were a dream, there'd probably be more snacks.
Maybe that boat has snacks. Guys, they have snacks.
Snacks.
What about me, guys?
So from LA, we left and we rented a Dodge Caravan GT. GT stands for Grand Touring, in case you're gonna tour your Grand Caravan. But it was nice, had sport wheels. I drove that across the desert, basically, out of LA on the way to Las Vegas, and we went out to the salt flats. Are they salt flats? I think it's just, yeah, it's like just the dried up river basin kind of thing, and shot some great promo footage for that Grand Caravan. Which, there was other guys there too, like there was another group of guys and they were clearly shooting a promo video for like a Corvette or something like that that was, you know, totally customized out, and they had a full-size drone and everything, and we're out here doing donuts in a Grand Caravan thinking we're hilarious. The drive into Las Vegas is interesting because it's not ghost towns, it's ghost like rest stops that have been completely abandoned, and there's these restaurants and gas stations that have just ceased to operate, and they just left it and drove away. What do we do when we go to Vegas? We just wander around and eat. Besides playing penny and nickel slots, I think it's just the entire trip is framed around us finding other things to eat. Yeah, I think it's just literally we get a drink, you open it, you go for a walk, and by the time you finish that drink, you've come along another CVS store or found another convenience store in a casino, and you get another one, and you just continue walking. The end is like Mandalay Bay on the one end, and then like you don't go past Circus. Like that's terrifying.
We met with Jeff Bottari, who is a photographer for the Las Vegas Knights?
Golden Knights, yeah.
Golden Knights, brand new team, 2 years old, as well as he's like staff photographer for all the UFC. He was so sweet and genuine, and it was such a delight to meet him. I think because he's just a crew guy. He looked at myself and Marshall like we were kind of like equals. Like there was this genuine feeling that he had towards us of like, hey, it's good to see you too. He was one of the coolest guys, just the amount of work that he's done in the UFC, which is something I've been kind of getting more of an appreciation for, thanks to Joe Rogan, I guess. Although my feelings on Joe Rogan are very mixed. He's a very contentious character. I feel like he has a big voice, and he has a lot of followers who potentially hang on his every word, but he's still a comedian. So he has this kind of, I'm getting on a rant, but Joe Rogan, mixed bag. I don't know if I trust him.
How did you enjoy Las Vegas, Mr. Fixed Gear?
Oh, it was great. You know, networking, a lot of networking, talking with the brand, making sure that Vegas was fun. Let's never come back.
If you remember, we were waiting for this flight to go to the Bahamas, and they called it, and they didn't call seats or anything like that, or like a boarding order. They just called it like, come and get on the plane. And we were like, the three of us were standing there like looking around being like, is this the right gate? Because like there's nobody getting on this plane. I think she made direct eye contact with us and was like, you guys are coming with us? This is the plane, like get on now. And we're just, oh, okay, and just walked out of the plane. There was nobody else on the plane. It was just the lady calling to get on the plane was also the stewardess. You guys want a water or something? Like it's a 30-minute flight. I don't think it's 30 minutes, is it? There's no way they made money on that.
Exuma was, it felt like Club Med. Like it just had this weird cottagey vibe to it.
Like even the customs guy, like he was trying to be hard, you know, stone face and stuff like that, but he was just still like, welcome to the Bahamas, have a good one.
I definitely could see myself, if I had $1 million, buying a property there and just kind of living there. I am able to apply for a Caribbean Union passport because my mother's from Guyana, which is part of the Caribbean Union. So I could potentially live and work there.
Breakfast lasagna.
I think the whole theme of the trip was pizza. Like we had pizza everywhere. Like how many times did we have pizza in the Bahamas? Like 4 times I think we had pizza. It was good pizza, which you wouldn't expect there to be like good pizza in a Caribbean island. Like it's just not supposed to be there. But it was really good pizza.
Here it is. Dead stop though. Keep out.
Huh.
There is a truck over there. Here it is. Beautiful Fire Key. Fire Festival. Shipping containers. House. That's about it. Fire Festival. Exuma, Bahamas. Party with thousands of influencers from all around the world. Kylie Jenner and Ja Rule together at last. Yeah. I got my cheese sandwiches. I'm looking for my tent. This island of influencers isn't everything I dreamt. A luxury experience thanks to Billy and Ja Rule. It's survival of the fittest here. They played me for a fool. I spent all of my money and now I can't get back home. I live at the Fire Festival unless I can get a loan. Can somebody send me money to get home from Fire Fest? I've been trapped here for a year now and I'm really quite depressed. The pigs are getting hungry and I'm probably going to die soon. But at least I'm in paradise. But where's Blink 182?
Yeah, the hotel was cool, like right on the water, with these little houses that are all kind of connected with paths and stuff. It's a great hotel and I really enjoyed it there.
And we swam with the pigs, which was weird. Such a weird tourist attraction is swimming pigs. I did feel like my hand would get cut off a couple times, so you have to really be careful and like throw the carrot.
Those are all your thoughts on
Those are all my thoughts, man.
It was a sunny day when you knocked upon my door. Oh, I got a different kind of feeling, the kind I never had before. I thought this was quite the coincidence.
Yep, see the dolphins? We don't see dolphins too often out here.
What a perfect way to spend the day, just dreaming.
Piggy time. Here they come. This piggy, her name is Panda. You gonna do it so we can get a good picture? Come on, there you go. Oh, that's a nice shot. Now this little girl coming out, her name's Trixie.
We kind of started, well, I started traveling before Christmas. Edith and I went to Africa and to do Christmas and New Year's with a set of friends, and there was nothing in the news. We were pretty excluded and stuff like that, but we weren't hearing anything. That was tail end of December. And then we came home, I changed planes in 24 hours and headed off to Tokyo, and we still hadn't heard anything about it. It kind of clicked in when we got to Hawaii after we were in Japan. We started hearing some news stories sweeping its way through China, and they were locking things down. But this was like second week of January maybe at that point. We got to Miami, and I think then it was starting to click in. It was like, oh, there's something wrong here. I went to the CVS beside the hotel and bought some face masks to wear in the airport, because like it was starting to scare us at that point.
This was January 23rd, and we really weren't sure if we should continue with the schedule as planned or return home. We decided to do one last location and then cancel the rest of the trip.
So I'm not sure how we ended up in Havana. I'm told that it was Marshall's idea as opposed to going to Italy, which in retrospect was probably a better idea.
Cuba is interesting. Yeah, let's call Cuba interesting. Like right from the get-go, coming through customs when we landed, Tim getting his microphones taken away, and then we were trying to convince him that he's a karaoke star and he needs those. Those are his tools, and we just came from Japan, and that's why he has them, because Japan is a really big karaoke culture. And the woman, I think she believed us.
Mixed bag feelings about Havana. So a lot of really interesting cars exist in Havana just because they all came over in the 50s and 60s before the trade embargo with the States, and now they're used as tourist travel cars, so you can kind of get the feeling like you've never left the 50s. That was neat, seeing those cars.
I've been to a lot of odd countries and seen a lot of odd places, but that was eye-opening. Yeah, it's got nothing. We walked down some streets that looked like a war zone. Like if you'd literally taken the camera and panned sideways and saw a tank, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like there is a lot of destruction that's not from a war or anything, it's just from neglect. Like I knew it was rough, but I didn't think it was that rough.
Leaving Havana, we had no idea that this would probably be our last flight of 2020.
And when we got back to Pearson, the customs there was scared. Like the guys working customs were full face shields, full masks, full everything. And it was totally pandemonium, because it looked like they dropped off 2 China Eastern flights at the same time as us, and the customs machines weren't working. That was fun. That was a real blast. We were in that customs hall for like almost 2 hours, just trying to get through, and they still didn't know what was going on, but they were trying to screen people, and that was tail end of January.
Over the next 2 months, everything changed. Northern Italy, which was originally 2 weeks of the trip, went into complete lockdown. Countries closed their borders, and the travel industry slowed to absolute zero. If I can pull any positives from the current global situation, it's that when tourism returns to normal, we're going to see a lot less people in major cities and a lot more people actually experiencing the real country outside of the theme parks and the city limits. This is going to bring more tourism dollars to small communities in the world that have never seen a single tourism dollar before. As travelers, it's going to push us to have unknown experiences again, to meet real people in the places you visit, and to come home with new stories and friendships rather than Starbucks points. I have never been less excited to visit a place like Disney, and I think that that is a great thing. I believe that the true benefit of travel is to make the world a more accepting and peaceful place, that by experiencing other cultures firsthand, you become a much more understanding, calm, level-headed person. And I think that travel in the future is going to become an even more rewarding experience in that regard.
It's opened your eyes to different things and opened your eyes to different people, and how you interact with people and how they interact with you is part of the travel experience. I think that's why I like it, is meeting weird people from all over the world and hanging out with them and sharing stories, and then realizing that maybe a guy you meet in a pub in Tokyo, in an English pub in Tokyo, actually his mom went to school with your aunt back in England in the 60s. Like, it's not a big world, and I think traveling really cements that fact.
I had a blast. The Nikon trip was one of my favorite things I've ever done. I don't think we're gonna get to do that again for a long time. So I'm grateful that we actually got to do it.
I miss the hotels, I miss the airports, I miss finding restaurants, and I miss getting lost and trying to figure out how to navigate on a train and at a weird train station, whether it's in Japan or it's in Morocco. We've seen some crazy stuff, and I think all these experiences accumulate into creating who you are And the more experiences you can gather, I think the more well-rounded you can become.
10 out of 10, Santorini would go back. 12 out of 10, Japan. If we ever get the chance to go back to Japan, gotta do Tokyo, gotta do North and the South, go to like Kyoto, Hiroshima. I wanna do it all. I wanna do all of Japan. That could be a show, Nikon. Send us to Japan, we'll do the whole country.
And that's all for season 1. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much to Nikon for sending us out there in the world with their cameras and not really telling us what to do and being cool with it if we decided that we want to do a cooking show rather than a photography show. It really was a dream job, and we're so grateful that we got to do this with our lives. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully this has inspired you to see a few more places with your camera, hopefully a Nikon camera, and just keep taking photos of what's fun for you and populating your portfolio with what you want to be paid to create someday. And if you're creating that portfolio already, those companies and couples and people are going to come along that are going to hire you to create your dream job again. So I hope that you enjoyed this season, and drop a comment if you enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be back for season 2 and the world returns to normal. It's a bit of a strange place right now.
Oh man, like what's with Tim and his bathing suits? Like his bathing suit choice. Like I know he's really into saunas and stuff, but like he bought those and he was like, he held them up and he was like, yeah, these are gonna look great.
Just accept that the human body is beautiful, and I love my body, and maybe he doesn't feel the same way about his. So I encourage him to find, a swimsuit that makes him feel good about himself. I haven't found this. I don't know where the swim shorts went.
If you're interested in learning about the business side of how this deal came together, there is a link for members in the description below. It talks about how the partnership with Nikon began and some suggestions I have for you if you want to work with your favorite camera brand.